I wanted to talk about a tour I just went on here in Chiang Mai, Thailand, which was called Chiang Mai Hill Tribe Coffee Farm. And so this was a very small scale tourist company made up of just 4 co-founders that takes visitors from Chiang Mai into the hills north of Chiang Mai to an area in the national park where a tribal community that are comprised of indigenous folks of the white Karen ethnicity live on this land. They grow subsistence and market crops, and this includes coffee. And so this was particularly focused on the coffee trade. This was a very small scale local coffee farm where local people work, and they're starting to bring tourists to this area. And in particular, I was interested in going on this tour because I recently read this book, Forest Guardians, Forest Destroyers, which talks about the Hmong and the Karen tribes in the northern hills of Thailand, and just the rhetoric used around how these folks live in the mountain areas, and how one is portrayed as someone who's more in tune with nature, where the other group is more stigmatized as those who have cut down and destroyed forests. And so this book in particular just talks about the different rhetorical narratives behind this social problem in Thailand and how that contributes to the policies that are made by the government. And so I went on this tour just to get footage and to learn more and have more exposure to this region and to these particular populations. And so in this video, I just wanted to talk about the tour specifically, but I'm definitely going to do a video in the future about this particular book. I came here to Chiang Mai, Thailand because I've done a lot of research on digital nomads. I've written a book and multiple academic articles about digital nomadism as a subculture, and of course I have this critical perspective on it. And so now I'm here visiting Chiang Mai, Thailand, and so I wanted to explore the different kind of tourist tracks, tourist activities that are in the region, as well as read books about social problems in the area. And so this particular tour group is just a very small group that's only comprised of 4 co-founders. And our main host of this event, Jack, has also worked in tourism industry for the last 20 plus years. And so as we took our hour-and-a-half drive into the mountains, we could see a lot of tourist destinations that are elephant sanctuaries, as well as nature activities such as 4x4 driving in the mountains, bamboo river raft riding, and stuff like that. We were one couple with another couple, so there was just 4 of us clients, and we had the tour guide Jack, and his wife was also the driver, Sara, and she's also one of the co-founders of the company. And then we had our local guide when we arrived to the farm area, who is nicknamed Moonshine, and indeed we got to try some of his moonshine liqueur, which tasted a bit like plum wine, so that was a fun thing to arrive to. We arrived to the farm after driving for an hour-and-a-half, and it was really great to get out of the city and to really explore these hill areas. Incidentally, the other couple along with us were Filipino Americans from California, and so it was just really interesting that 4 of us on the trip were Americans, 3 out of 4 of us were Asian Americans. And so we also just talked a bit about, being Asian American in Asia, how people react to us. And indeed, our tour guide Jack mentioned that, that couple looked, straight up Thai, and that I looked Chinese Thai. And so he was kind of including us all in this culture and history of Thailand, and that, we are Asians, together. And that's a topic of a future video I'd really like to make also, is just the experience of being Asian America and traveling in Asia. So after our hour-and-a-half drive through the mountains in northern Thailand, we arrived at this farmland, and this is land that is in a national park. These folks are allowed to live on the land and to grow a certain amount of crops, both for their own subsistence as well as for the market. And so they're farming lands that are on the slopes, that are terraced off, that are just at high elevations and very small patches of land raising different types of crops. I think they were raising rice, they were obviously raising coffee. There were fruit trees everywhere, bananas, we saw guava. There were medicinal herbs around. They were raising passion fruit. There was a little area of growing passion fruit vines, and that's what we ate for breakfast, passion fruit and bananas. And so we got to take a leisurely stroll around this area and see the different plants, see the different crops, of course with a focus on the coffee plant. And so we all got into this 4x4 truck. We rode in the back, and we rode up the hill a bit to these different kinds of farm and garden areas. We got to feed the cows and see the land that was at this point fallow in anticipation of the rice crop during the wet season. Right now is the dry season. They showed us the different coffee plants, and so we got to see some of the coffee fruit on the plant at various stages. And so they wanted to show us the different coffee fruits in the different colors and different stages of ripeness. And so we picked the fruit off the tree, we ate it. You know, coffee is a fruit and the coffee bean is a seed, and we're able to just see the difference of how the plant grows. And we were also planted our own tree in the area as well and put our name tag on it, so in the future we could visit our future tree.
Okay.
And then cover it up? Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Finishนะครับ Moonshine have the water to wash your hand later. Okay. You water your coffee mans. Listen, my God, you water your coffee.
And incidentally, Morgan and I, you know, we love exotic pets. We previously went herping in Vietnam. I made a video about that. And so on this trip, I told the guide, Jack, you know, I'm really interested in reptiles. In case you see a snake or a lizard, you know, point it out. I would love to see it. And he's like, oh, gross. And he said, you know, this is the dry season, we won't be seeing any of that. But what we did see is a lot of spiders, and there was, yeah, some huge spiders that we saw.
Oh, Morgan, here you go. Look, there's one in there.
Is it a spider or a spider?
Yeah, it's some kind of spider. You can see the legs in there.
Jack, where you going?
Oh, look at that funnel. Yeah, they grow. Wow, there's a bunch of them.
It's coming out. You can go look. It's coming out. I saw the lid.
Yeah, it might be a tarantula or something. A funnel.
Funnel spider.
Wow, there's a bunch of them though.
I like that. I pick up. Keep it great. He say he saw already.
นี่ไงอาหารปลานี่
That's a crab.
โอ้โหเริ่มต้นมานี่
So that was exciting for Morgan and I to just see these different spiders and to go home and look them up later. And so our guide Jack really pointed out that, you know, people like us, tourists from America, from Europe, really love the peace and quiet of going into these mountain communities and just getting to be around nature, to see these plants and to see where our food comes from in this kind of global food production system.
Kemana itu lulak kamu? Kita putih tapi palu ma buke punya kemana perlu cabai saya tapi perlu buke perjalanan tak. Percaya dia tahu dia kita pemakan dua cita tak. Tak perlu jaga saya. Tak kira ni tak saya pulau di bawah sih. Pulau di awal kita tu.
For example, Morgan and I have never really seen these particular fruits in their natural environment. So this is the first time we got to pick up, bananas and the weight of the fruit when it comes right off the tree. I've never seen passion fruit or bananas or guavas, mangoes on the tree before this trip, and so it was really amazing to see. And so we got back into the 4x4 truck, we went back down the hill to the area, and this area they had, people live in this little village.
Okay. The traffic
But there's also a little cafe they had set up with all their coffee equipment to serve us breakfast and to make some coffee. But now we moved into this workshop area where we're going to do our coffee workshop. And so in this coffee workshop area, it was a bamboo building constructed over a koi fish pond. And so there's koi fish in this pond. It was over the water in order to provide a cooling environment to the structure. And then the structure had a bamboo floor and walls and roof, but some of the walls were missing, so we could get that nice breeze through there. And so Jack gave us a lecture on the history of coffee production globally and just the different phases of growing the plants and also, processing the coffee beans and roasting them and stuff like that.
The first thing that this is anatomy of coffee. Lucky, you still see the lucky cherry and you still taste it on the tree. Cherry, we have the skin, the red skin that you taste like a tea in the morning. That I tell you, we call kaskala.
And so this was nice to get this kind of educational perspective on coffee. And then we turned to our own hands-on experience of roasting coffee beans ourselves.
Everyone have to practice this. You have to hold this one, okay? You hold on this one. You don't want to follow anyone. They have their own way. Now we listen we go to the second part. I don't put in here. I not wait my coffee go longer because it's too hot inside here.
Right.
Doing a pour over, and of course we got to keep some of the coffee beans, with our name on it to take home with us as our souvenir. And so we had these small coffee roasters. We were roasting by hand, cranking them, timing, checking out the color of the beans to see the particular roast that we wanted. Some of us like light coffee, medium, dark, and so we made a variety of roasts. And then we were cooling the coffee beans in this bamboo basket.
Don't worry about the tree. Take it out, please.
Down.
Down. No hurry, Kat. Take the drum back.
Turn it off.
No problem.
Okay.
105 Five.
And then after that, we packaged our coffee beans for ourselves to take home. They need to kind of dry out for 2 more weeks. And we tried everyone's coffee. And so we were certainly, buzzing hard off our caffeine overdose, and then got back into the van for our ride back to Chiang Mai. So it was a really lovely experience. And what I liked about it is it was a small scale tour. This company is a brand new company started by Jack and his co-founders, just 4 folks. And they're really only focusing on this one coffee tour to this particular village. And they're trying to build up, more infrastructure within that community. And they're also trying to develop some homestays. And so part of also why I want to think about traveling critically while I'm traveling, and also go on these tours and get some more kind of sociological insights about what's happening on these tours. I'm really interested in these topics. And so I'm really thinking about how these particular tours can really serve the people and the working class folks, empower them more in this structure, because globally the tourism industry is, a top-down industry with these multinational corporations at the top owning all of this infrastructure, and very little of that tourism money really makes it to the people that are doing the service labor. So that's just kind of an overview of this visit to this hill tribe. But the tour itself was really fantastic in its own experience, and I would definitely encourage others to reach out to this company and to check out these local indigenous coffee farms in North Thailand.